처음 키토제닉 식단이나 저탄고지 다이어트에 대한 정보를 접하면 너무 극단적이라는 생각이 들 수도 있습니다. 왜냐하면 그 이론에는 우리가 알던 건강상식에 반하는 내용들도 많기 때문입니다. 그래서 저도 키토제닉이라는 단어를 처음 알게 되고 나서 실행에 옮기기까지 약 1년이라는 시간이 걸렸습니다. 로버트 박사는 사람들이 일반적으로 알고 있는 건강상식의 오류와 키토제닉의 관점에서 바로잡아야 할 항목을 다음과 같이 소개했습니다.
Number one, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Absolute medical word. The concept of breakfast, folks, was popularized by the Kellogg's brothers. And the Kellogg's brothers are the guys that invented cornflakes. Okay, we got this great thing, cornflakes taste great. When the devil are we going to give cornflakes to people? Let's create breakfast as the most important meal of the day and insert some grain foods called breakfast cereal into that breakfast space. It is an advertising gimmick for cornflakes from 100 years ago that has become taken up in folklore as breakfast being the most important meal of the day. Folks, it is absolute biological nonsense. Because here's what happens. As soon as you wake up, between cortisol and glucagon, those two hormones squeeze your liver to release massive amounts of sugar into the bloodstream. That's called breakfast. It's a little bit like if you've been sleeping at night, your car's been idling, and suddenly you put it into gear and drive off. There's a rush of energy to the engine. Well, in exactly the same way, there's a rush of sugar from your liver into your body as soon as you wake up. If you ask any diabetic, they know what the dawn effect is. So why the devil are you supplementing what your body is doing? Your body is giving you breakfast. Why the hell are you eating on top of that? What's your body going to do with that? It's just going to create disruption. If you want to have a cup of coffee or something like that to get your day going, that's fine. Breakfast is the least important meal of the day. And one of the best things you can do is to ride the wave of not eating as deep into the day as you can. And slowly over time, you'll be able to extend that to the point that you don't consume calories before noon, which gives you a 16 to 18 hour period of time where your body is using what it's stored and not having to redistribute what you've put in your face. Breakfast is the least important meal of the day.
물론 매일 아침 식사를 거르지 않던 사람이 아침을 안 먹기 시작하면 몸에 에너지가 없고 극심한 배고픔을 느낄 수도 있습니다. 하지만 그것은 적응의 문제일 뿐입니다. 저도 30년 이상을 아침을 거르면 큰일 나는 사람처럼 살아왔습니다. 부지런한 어머니 덕분에 새벽 5시에 집을 나서야 하는 일을 할 때도 4시에 일어나서 따뜻한 밥을 먹고 출근을 했던 기억이 있습니다. 배가 고프면 몸에 무리가 가고 근손실이 생긴다는 우려도 있었던 것 같습니다. 하지만 지금은 아침에 일어나서 오후 2, 3시까지 아무것도 먹지 않습니다. 배고픔을 참으며 억지로 버티는 것이 아닙니다. 하루의 첫 식사를 하기 전에 고강도 운동을 하면서도 큰 배고픔을 느끼지 않습니다. 우리 몸은 먹지 않아도 저장된 에너지로 꽤 오랫동안 충분히 생활할 수 있습니다. 근손실도 일어나지 않습니다. 허기라는 신호에 즉각적으로 반응해 매번 음식을 입에 넣을 필요는 없습니다. 그것은 파도처럼 왔다가 사라지기도 하는 가짜 배고픔일 때도 있습니다. 이런 개념들을 이해하고 나면 우리는 음식을 먹어야만 한다는 강박에서 벗어날 수 있습니다.
The second big myth. Oh, you mustn't eat dinner before you go to bed. You mustn't eat late. It's so bad for you. Your metabolism, you're going to gain weight if you eat late. Absolute medical word. Absolute medical word. What do lions do after they've eaten? They sleep. They don't go run around and play games. They lie there with their paws in the air and they're fast asleep. Because all their blood is going to their gut to use that metabolism. So the first thing is, it doesn't affect your metabolic rate. Does it matter when you put fuel in your gas in your car? Does your car run better when you put fuel in the morning versus the evening? No, it doesn't. Same thing with your body, it just doesn't matter. And now here's a positive reason to eat later in the night. In the carbohydrate addiction model, it's my job, that's what I do. What I find in my personal life and the lives of a lot of my patients is the time between dinner and bedtime is their most vulnerable time to screw up. And when we screw up, it's snacking on crap or even snacking on something that may be healthy, but it's still a snack because we're using it for our mental relaxation, for emotion management before we go to bed. And the later we eat in the evening, we shorten that time period between dinner and bedtime, we're less likely to create nutritional and carbohydrate addiction havoc to our lives. We protect ourselves from ourselves. If you want to eat early, that's fine. I'm not saying it's a crime, I'm not saying it's bad, but there is absolutely no biologic, biochemical, metabolic, or emotional reason that it's bad to eat late at night. If you suffer from severe acid reflux, don't eat and go straight to bed. But the reality is a carbohydrate-free life is very, very good for gastroesophageal reflux. The next concept is calories and portion control. Absolute BS. The concept of calories, thermodynamic nutritional eating, came about because we started eating more carbohydrates and we disregarded our natural satiety functions where hormones in your intestine are triggered by the food that you eat that go back to your brain that said you've had enough. Human beings are the only species that predetermine how much we're going to eat, and then we finish that food. Saturated fat provides very, very healthy feedback if you allow yourself to recognize that biochemical feedback. And yes, it takes reconditioning. But if you ever go to Europe, you'll see how little they put on the plate. That's not how little they put on the plate, folks. That's called normal. We pig out like crazy over here because more is better. Bang for buck. No. Calories and portion control becomes irrelevant when you're eating a high-fat, low-carbohydrate diet. Don't eat a specific amount of calories. It's irrelevant when it comes to weight loss or weight maintenance. And really what we're after is not losing weight, we're after losing and maintaining the weight that we lost. So forget about the concept of calories and portions.
칼로리는 음식이 가진 정보를 숫자로 단순화했다는 점에서는 의미가 있다고 생각합니다. 하지만 문제는 음식을 칼로리라는 개념 하나로만 바라보는 사고방식입니다. 음식에는 여러 가지 정보가 숨겨져 있습니다. 같은 300칼로리를 먹더라도 빵을 먹었을 때와 샐러드를 먹었을 때 우리 몸의 반응이 같을 수는 없습니다. 따라서 칼로리라는 개념 하나에 너무 의존하지 말고 그 음식이 가진 여러 가지 측면을 봐야 합니다. 채널에 댓글로 달리는 질문 중에는 얼마나 먹어야 하는지, 이만큼 먹고 있는데 잘하고 있는 것인지, 이렇게 음식의 적정 섭취량에 대해 궁금해하시는 분들이 많습니다. 하지만 그것은 정답과 오답이 존재하는 시험 문제가 아닙니다. 스스로 느껴보고 조정해 나가는 과정이 반드시 필요합니다. 그리고 로버트 박사의 말대로 우리 몸에 포만감 신호를 보낼 수 있는 음식으로 식단을 구성하시기 바랍니다. 지방과 단백질이 풍부한 식품은 뇌에 포만감 신호를 전달해 필요한 만큼 먹었을 때 식사를 멈출 수 있게 해줍니다. 반면 가공탄수화물은 우리 몸의 포만감 신호를 교란시킵니다. 배부른 상태에서도 탄산음료, 달달한 디저트, 아이스크림은 끝없이 들어가는 걸 경험해보셨을 겁니다. 사람들은 디저트 배가 따로 있다는 말을 농담처럼 하지만 그것은 과학적으로도 일리가 있는 말입니다.
The fourth dietary misconception is you have to drink a lot of water. Oh, you got to drink half your body weight in water or 84 ounces or 6. Absolute garbage, folks. Just like with portion control, your body has a very, very tightly built-in control mechanism for drinking water, the thirst and satiety signals. Let your body do its job. If you're thirsty, drink, and as soon as your thirst is quenched, stop drinking. As long as there are no calories in what you're drinking, that system will work. It doesn't work in sugary drinks and it doesn't work in alcohol. Very easy to leave half a glass of water on the table. Very difficult to leave half a beer, especially if you paid for it, or half a glass of Coke on the table. Think that through. But if you're drinking fluids that do not contain calories, you stop when your thirst is quenched. And human beings are the only species that way overdrink. We do not need to drink that much fluid. Your kidneys will love you if you drink less. And you don't flood your body and overhydrate yourself. In fact, Tim Noakes even wrote a book on waterlogging, where ultra-distance athletes who use a lot of carbohydrates drink tons of water. The carbohydrates quickly get used up as energy, and you're left with this excess water. And in severe circumstances, that excess water can actually cause brain swelling, seizures, and death. Over drinking water is unnecessary in the face of a no-carbohydrate diet. So rethink that. We are the only species of mammals on the planet Earth that overdrinks water. The next simple but such an important concept to understand is that the consumption of carbohydrates are essential for brain function and body function. Absolutely false. But here's where I understand it's a little bit difficult, because carbohydrates are necessary for brain function, for red cell function, for body function. You have to have carbohydrates. Without carbohydrates in your blood, you will die. But they don't have to come from your mouth, folks. Your liver is excellent at producing and releasing carbohydrates in exactly the quantity that your body needs. It'll never let you down when it's happy and healthy. So therefore, we do not have to eat carbohydrates to stay alive. Carbohydrates are a non-essential nutrient. Historically, there might have been some value to them. But in this era of absolute abundance, in this era of simple sugars, in this era of mixing sugar with fat, especially the polyunsaturated fats, carbohydrates are no longer important in your diet. You don't have to eat them because your liver makes them.
탄수화물 제한은 키토 다이어트에서 가장 중요한 핵심 원리지만 동시에 일반인들의 접근성을 확 떨어뜨리는 요소라고 생각합니다. 하지만 키토 다이어트는 무탄수화물 식단이 아닙니다. 적은 양이긴 하지만 탄수화물을 금지하는 식단은 아니라는 것입니다. 그리고 우리는 꼭 엄격한 키토 다이어트를 할 필요는 없습니다. 운동을 예로 들어 생각해보면 쉽게 이해되실 거예요. 올림픽 선수와 생활체육을 하는 일반인이 하는 훈련이 같을 수는 없습니다. 특정 질병의 치료를 목적으로 혹은 고도비만인 분들이 빠른 체중 감량을 목적으로 한다면 키토제닉 식단의 효과를 극대화하기 위해서 탄수화물 섭취를 50g 이하로 최소화해야 할 것입니다. 하지만 체중 유지나 건강 개선, 다이어트를 목적으로 하는 키토 다이어트에 대해 가볍게 접근하시는 분들은 지속 가능성이 무엇보다 중요하게 다가옵니다. 이 영상을 보시는 대부분의 시청자분들이 여기에 해당한다고 생각하는데요. 그런 분들은 탄수화물을 100g 이하로만 줄여도 충분히 좋은 효과를 보실 수 있을 거라 생각합니다. 저는 점심은 무탄수화물에 가까운 키토제닉 식단, 그리고 저녁에는 50g에서 100g 사이의 탄수화물을 허용하는 식단을 3년째 유지하고 있습니다. 이렇게 하면 아침부터 저녁까지는 탄수화물의 공급이 거의 없기 때문에 지방대사를 활성화할 수 있고 탄수화물에 대한 갈망도 조절하면서 식단을 어렵지 않게 지속할 수 있다는 장점이 있습니다.
The sixth misconception. Oh, salt is really bad. You have to be on a low salt diet. Absolute garbage. Salt and sugar are very, very equivalent in terms of bringing and retaining water in your system. The difference is this. Salt remains in your blood vessels at a very level number, 140. Maybe a little bit up, 138, 140. Blood sugar is going up and down like crazy, and together with it, blood volume, because you see, every molecule of sugar is attached to a molecule of water. And on the other hand, the human body uses salt to regulate blood pressure and blood volume. The entire human system of fluid management is based around salt. The renin-angiotensin system, sweating, pooping out salt, pooping out water, peeing out water. When you pee, when you sweat, you don't sweat water, you sweat salt, and the water chases the salt. When you eat sugar, you use up that sugar or store it as fat. Now you're left with all this excess water. What the hell do you do with it? You can't pee it out, you have to use salt to do that. So it leaches into your tissues and you swell up like a toad. Salt is essential to the human condition. Salt doesn't cause high blood pressure, doesn't cause heart attacks, doesn't cause strokes. That's a myth. Salt plus sugar, really bad. But if you get rid of the sugar, which is always bad, salt becomes essential. Do not be afraid of salt. And salt and electrolytes are critically important to take in on a regular basis in large amounts. The seventh misconception is that the human body, as opposed to cows and other animals, that the human body has to have fiber and grains. Not only is that completely false, but it's even, in a lot of people, toxic. Grains have a lot of gluten in them, and gluten negatively affects the intestine, activates the inflammatory system, damages the intestine. You do not have to eat grains, and you do not have to eat fiber or vegetable material for fiber. Does fiber help us to poop? Absolutely, but it is absolutely not necessary to form a normal bowel movement with fiber, because fiber is the fermentation of vegetable matter in the colon to convert sugar to fat. And that is problematic because that increases diseases like irritable bowel syndrome, colon cancer, diverticulitis. All of those are the toxicities of excessive fiber. Human beings do not need fiber and do not need grains. They are unnecessary on our diet as long as you've got enough salt, fat, and water in your diet. And water doesn't have to be excessive, it just has to be enough.
소금에 대해서는 자세하게 설명한 영상이 있으니 관련 영상을 시청해 주시기 바랍니다. 로버트 박사는 곡물의 글루텐에 대해서 언급했는데요. 글루텐이 많이 들어있는 대표적인 곡물은 밀가루입니다. 그리고 글루텐이 없는 대표적인 곡물은 쌀입니다. 그래서 저는 탄수화물을 먹을 때 되도록 밥을 먹으려고 합니다. 채소에 관해서는 부정적인 부분을 이야기했지만 여러분이 아시다시피 식이섬유는 건강에 긍정적인 부분이 있습니다. 하지만 여기서 로버트 박사는 채소의 식이섬유가 일반적인 상식처럼 모두에게 다 좋은 것은 아니며 필수 영양소는 더더욱 아니라는 점을 분명히 하고 싶었던 것 같습니다. 채소가 건강에 좋을 수 있는 것도 사실이지만 거기에 독소가 있다는 것도 부정할 수 없는 팩트입니다. 채소는 인간에게 먹히기 위해 존재하는 것이 아닙니다. 그들도 포식자들에게 먹히지 않기 위해 다양한 방어 메커니즘을 발달시켰고 그중 하나가 바로 식물성 독소입니다. 식물 독소는 렉틴, 옥살산, 피트산 등이 대표적이며 이 성분들은 조리 시 현저하게 줄어들긴 하지만 사람마다 민감도의 차이가 있기 때문에 주의를 기울여야 합니다. 이 부분에 있어서 우리 조상들은 그 어떤 민족보다도 전문가였던 것 같습니다. 물에 한동안 담가두고 데치고 말리고 절이고 발효시키고 하는 조리법들은 그 식재료에 있는 독성을 효과적으로 제거하는 방법들입니다.
So we've way over-focused on fiber and grains because we became lipophobic about 70 years ago. And we removed saturated fat from our diet. So that takes me to the 8th point. Red meat. Red meat is so bad for you. Absolutely wrong. Red meat is one of the healthiest things we can eat, and we evolved because we ate red meat. We evolved because we learned to capture large animals and eat them. That's how our brain evolved. But the point about red meat is it's not protein. It's not protein. Stop calling it protein. Red meat is fat with protein. It's the combination that is critically important. You just drink protein or you just drink olive oil or fat, both of those have issues. But as a combination, red meat is incredibly healthy and I would say somewhat necessary to normal brain function. And it's bizarre in the USDA guidelines of 2020, they love fish, but they hate red meat. What's the difference, folks? It's protein and fat. It's protein and fat. It's protein and fat. There's no difference. Don't condemn red meat. If you don't like it, that's fine. You don't have to eat it. But it is a very, very healthy way to feed our brain, to prevent brain disorders. It is a healthy way to get fat and protein in as nutrients and as a source of energy. Don't condemn red meat. It is very healthy. Number 9. Saturated fat. Oh my God, if you say the word, you're going to die of a heart attack and a stroke. Absolutely false. How is it possible that the human body uses saturated fat to govern satiety and has a whole bunch of mechanisms that deals with saturated fat in a healthy way for that to be unhealthy? Is God and nature trying to kill us with what we've evolved to eat over thousands of years? No. Saturated fat got demonized by mistake when we failed to demonize smoking, because smoking in the 1950s was perfectly healthy. So the fat in our arteries, the fat that we ate, was clogging our blood vessels and causing our heart attacks and strokes. Smoking wasn't important in that. Absolutely false. We condemned saturated fat from our diet and became lipophobic as a society completely by either naive or intentional mistake. And we've paid the price of obesity, diabetes, and metabolic syndrome since the 1950s when we demonized saturated fat. The human body needs saturated fat. Ask any breastfeeding baby, that fat is highly concentrated in breast milk. And those babies are not dying of heart attacks and strokes. Saturated fat is essential to the human diet, and it's the replacement of saturated fat with industrial polyunsaturated fats that is creating an environment of cancer, an environment of autoimmune disease, an environment of inflammation. Those are all new modern diseases. You go back 100 years, those diseases were very, very rare because people didn't eat polyunsaturated fats. We didn't use oils that are meant for lubrication of cars' engines. Aha, this must be good for us to eat. No, folks. And nature does not combine carbohydrates with polyunsaturated fats. That is a false premise, and it's become the prevalent source of nutrition. It is false that saturated fat is bad for us. Absolutely false. In fact, it is necessary to protect the protein in meat.
포화지방과 붉은 고기에 관해서는 저희 채널에서 지속적으로 이야기하고 있는 주제입니다. 탄수화물을 제한하는 키토 다이어트를 하기로 결심했는데 포화지방과 붉은 고기에 대한 공포심에서 벗어나지 못한다면 야채나 계란만 먹으며 만족스럽지 못한 식생활을 하다가 포기하게 될 가능성이 높습니다. 이것은 제가 초반에 했던 실수이기도 합니다. 저도 키토제닉 식단을 시작했을 때는 다른 많은 분들처럼 체중 감량이 가장 큰 목적이었습니다. 그래서 고기나 포화지방을 마음 놓고 즐기지는 못했던 것 같습니다. 그러다 보니 식단에서 칼로리가 적은 야채나 약간의 MCT 오일, 그리고 계란을 주로 이용했었습니다. 그로 인해 살은 쭉쭉 빠졌지만 그것은 키토 다이어트의 효과라기보다는 먹는 양 자체가 지나치게 줄어든 탓이었던 것 같습니다. 현재는 고기와 생선 등 자연적인 식품을 포만감이 들 때까지 마음껏 즐기고 있습니다. 그럼에도 감량한 체중을 스트레스 받지 않고 잘 유지하고 있습니다. 키토 다이어트를 하면 활력이 넘친다고 하는데 저는 솔직히 둔감해서 그런 건 잘 모르겠고, 어쨌든 에너지가 부족해서 일에 집중을 못하거나 운동을 중단하는 일은 없습니다. 포화지방에 대한 더 자세한 정보는 오른쪽 상단에 관련 영상을 확인해주세요.
Number 10. The world loves to tell us we're deficient in all these different things, so we have to use supplements and cleansers and boosters and help. We wouldn't exist as a species if we needed those things, folks. The colon is our shitter. That's its job. It's designed to get poop out of it. You don't have to cleanse your colon. Come on, man. Those are wallet biopsies. That's snake oil that someone's trying to sell you. And oh, you got to take this vitamin and this supplement and your ashwagandha. Absolute garbage. Eat real food. You don't need supplementation for the most part. There are a few elements where you may need some supplementation. But as long as you're getting a decent spectrum of food in, your food is your supplement. Oh, but I have to have I feel so much better if I... Placebo effect, folks. Don't be sold wallet biopsies. People are making money off your naiveness. We've never needed them before. Why do we need them now? We don't. Superhuman is not a condition. Normal human is what we're striving for. And a normal human survives best on a normal human diet. Number 11. This is our little bonus round. Because I can understand how people are mistaken about this. And the misconception here is that you get so much benefit from fruit and berries and keto lookalikes. You may. Sure, fruit, berries have a lot of nutritional value. And if you're an otherwise normal person, I doubt whether such a person exists in America anymore, but if you're a healthy, normal person, eat your berries, eat your fruit. But fruit is no longer something that nature and God provided. The apple that we eat didn't come from the Garden of Eden. That was a little sour thing this big. Now it's this big, and they didn't add more nutrients to it. It's pure sugar. There's double the amount of sugar in the average apple to the average donut. And they're both fructose, by the way, same sugar. Oh, but one's garbage. So if you have diabetes, if you have obesity, if you have metabolic syndrome, if you have insulin resistance, that sugar in fruit, in berries, yes, berries are just baby fruits. Think about this, folks. If you're an alcoholic because you drink a 750 ml bottle of Tito's every day, and you're an alcoholic and you quit drinking that, that's fruit. But now you get on an airplane, they give you a little bottle of Tito's like this, an ounce. That's okay? Garbage. My favorite medical word there. Berries are baby fruits. They don't have the value and they do the same harm as fruit. Stay away from them. That is the downfall very often of a ketogenic diet where people are doing drive-bys. And the same thing with lookalikes. Oh, I made some arbitrary almond flour crust, or I made pizza from this, or I made brownies from, or fat bombs. You're eating it for this, folks. You're not eating it for this. Carbohydrate lookalikes do not belong in the standard human diet. That's a misconception. It is a slippery slope to recidivism, to relapse. And those are 11 common dietary misconceptions. Hope this helps.
여기서 여러분들이 오해하지 말아야 할 점은 이것은 키토제닉 식단의 관점에서 바라본 지침이라는 점입니다. 노파심에 하는 말이긴 하지만 여러분이 탄수화물의 양을 하나도 줄이지 않고 이 상식들을 적용시킨다면 오히려 더 안 좋은 결과를 불러올 것입니다. 예를 들어 고기가 건강에 좋다고 했으니 따뜻한 밥에 양념된 고기를 마음껏 먹는다든지 소금이 괜찮다고 해서 라면 국물에 밥 말아 먹는다든지 하는 실수를 범하지 마시길 바랄게요. 로버트 박사는 학창시절 우리가 보았던 무섭고 엄격한 선생님 같습니다. 하지만 학창시절을 떠올려보세요. 선생님이 시키는 대로 다 했었나요? 로버트 박사는 정확한 지식과 엄격한 기준을 전달했습니다. 그것을 생활에 어떻게 적용시킬지는 이 영상을 보는 우리들의 몫입니다. 앞에서도 말씀드렸지만 비기너들에게 너무 엄격한 기준은 접근성과 지속성을 떨어뜨리는 요인이 됩니다. 효과가 100이지만 지속하기 어려운 방법보다 효과가 70이지만 오랫동안 스트레스 받지 않고 지속할 수 있는 방법이 장기적으로는 더 낫다고 생각합니다. 그래서 저는 밥도 먹고, 과일도 먹고, 어머니의 예술작품과 같은 김치도 먹고, 다양한 음식을 즐깁니다. 대부분의 끼니는 엄격한 기준으로 지키고 있지만 어떤 음식을 완전히 끊는 것과 가끔 먹어도 되는 것에는 심리적으로 상당히 큰 차이가 있습니다. 그러니 여러분도 너무 어렵고 힘든 방법이라고만 생각하기보다는 내가 이 지식을 실생활에 어떻게 적용시킬 수 있을지 고민해보고 실행에 옮겨보시기 바랍니다. 키토제닉이라는 개념은 완벽하게 지키지 않더라도 확실히 다이어트와 건강에 큰 도움이 될 수 있습니다. 이상한 다이어트였습니다.